Ian, good morning. Can you hear me?
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Can you hear me, Ian?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can barely hear you. Hold on. Let me put some headphones on.
Okay.
Okay, fabulous.
Okay, is that better?
That's perfect. I love the microphone.
All right.
Okay, so we'll try to go through this kind of quick because we're limited to 15 minutes for the upload. So I'll send you this video once we're done so you can review it if you need to. Below here, I just sent across, obviously, your attendance here on the webinar. You've gotten this email, but you want to cut and paste this into your browser for your login. Okay, so I'll just do that now. Let's do this. And then that's the training website, and then your email. And then your passcode is just by default 1234 to make it real easy.
Okay.
Then we'll log in here, make sure it works. I struggled with it a bit yesterday. Okay, so it's been quite an experience. So I'm trying to build two sites at the same time, and and work. Okay, so you have your investors here. You click on that. This is the first module. You have a few trainings in here. It's not totally complete, but it'll get you started. Your hot list, your warm list. So if you want to review these, I also have in here your elevator pitch and how kind of we talk to our new investors or new potential investors and network.
Okay.
So this is all in here. Proposals, real easy system to use. I think you'll find it to be user friendly. And then the forum, you can ask me questions. Since it's just you right now, you can just, of course, email me, whatever works best for you.
Sure.
Okay, so let's go through. So that's the sign into Kijiji, a brief overview of that. Now the next step is to build your investor list. You probably already have your list. I don't know if you have one person, two people. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to have your VA, Christine. Solly had to, she's in the hospital, unfortunately.
Oh, boy.
She's been having a bout with chemotherapy because she had breast cancer. So she's kind of in and out. So Christine's going to be sending you deals, but I'm just going to give you a sample of our investor list so you can kind of see what we do and what the girls do for me. So, I mean, we have literally thousands. I can't bring that up, but literally thousands of people on this investor list. And then we have contractors and Facebook contacts. But we have thousands of people that we've been building up over the years. I think it's about 1,800. But get your investor list together. Now, do you have a Gmail account?
I do.
You do, perfect. Okay, and the reason why we like to have a Gmail account is just because you need the drive and you need the YouTube account. So, for instance, the drive over here is, I'm sure you're familiar. You have your YouTube. I have my VAs book, calendar, events, auctions, etc. Okay, and then of course the drive we use for all of our documentation so that it can be shared and everybody has access to that account on the cloud, right?
Okay.
So real easy. I'm sure you're probably familiar with all that, but wanted to make sure and do a brief overview. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I don't know if I have a channel. I have an account.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the same thing, but because I don't tend to use, I use Gmail for my personal account, but you know how personal emails are now. It's more texting and Facebook stuff. Rather, people don't tend to use their personal emails that much anymore. So
Right.
I haven't been using it that much. I've been using mostly my real estate web email address. So
I gotcha. Well, it's kind of nice to kind of separate. So each one of my students or my clients, we set up a specific account, like Marcos Renovations, Sue's Renovations, Cheryl's Renovations, and I set up a Gmail account for every specific business venture. And that way it's just real easy. Then the bookkeeper can sign in, she can do billing, right? The investor can sign in, they can see what draws are going on if they have a project that's under construction, see where they're at. All documents are kept in one place with easy access no matter where you're at and whoever is a part of it, right? So real handy, but you're familiar with that, so I won't go into too much detail on that. So the next is, once you have your contacts list or your investor list, then you're going to want to put out some offers, right? So we went through this briefly, but here's a short form proposal. Now I stripped this one down. I usually have my name and the company name and the address and all of our contact information in the header. So make that your own. Your VA will be sending it over like this for you, right? And then your investment options. Now you're not going to want to do this one. You can do crowdfunding, can invest,
Okay.
5,000 or more, and take ownership interest.
It was pretty big coincidence, that one that you actually emailed over yesterday. That's where I met Christine when I was working with her, and I met her at one of the flips that she was doing. It was in that same area, in the Western neighborhood. That I met her.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Okay, very cool. Well, so your options for your investors, just kind of make this your own. First of all, review the proposals, see which ones you want. There's some in there that I review that I don't like. There is in the spread, there is in the margin. So review your proposals, pick out the ones that you want to use, cherry pick them, and then go ahead and do your options for your investors. You know your investors better than I do. Control Z. So, cater to them. And then, of course, make this your own. Use it however you will. We like to cut and paste it into an email, and then also make it an attachment, right?
Yeah.
But in your proposal, you definitely want the letter from the appraiser showing the value, and then like we were talking about, you want to do the testimonials. Sometimes for credibility, you're familiar with that, just being in sales. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a review of the short form proposal. Of course, you want to be somewhat familiar with it. So review the property that you're sending out to your investors so you can talk to them about it. And then go ahead and send them out, put your header, make the dialogue your own. Of course, make the offers your own. And then just to give you an example, like what we have this week, 2 days, 2 hours, 49 minutes. So here's a property in Aurora, a cash purchase only. And this is what we really like for, our investors. So if someone comes on board, we can place them, within a week or two, place their monies based off these samples. But this one's in Parachute. I don't know if you know where Parachute is. That's down valley from us. But yeah. But it's mountains. This will probably sell cheap, maybe 35,000, 40,000. But there's a handful of them in there. And that's the auctions for this week. And it just finished an auction yesterday. So we have multiple auctions all the time. Of course, there's a few MLS leads. There's always a few probate and estate sales going on. Pre-foreclosures, foreclosures through the trustee. So always something going on. It's just a matter of striking an interest with your investor and then following up with them with these kind of leads.
Yeah. Now, is this like the auction.com? Is that something that I would do on my own, or is that where the VA is getting their leads from, or?
We book. They go through everywhere, but like just to give you an example, I pulled this up because yesterday I was on it and there was deals closing. So there's auction.com, there's Williams & Williams, there's a ton of auction sites. There's the trustee for every county that happens, depending on the county. It could be a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Eagle County's on Wednesday. I think Denver's on Thursday. So it just, you know what I mean? And what they do then And that's another reason why you want to have your G Drive or Gmail account shared with your VA, because what she'll do is she'll book those for you. She'll show you, put those auctions or whatever's going on. The absolute auctions is what they look for, because there's no, there's no reserve. It's going to sell no matter what, supposedly. So what they do is they book that onto your Google Calendar, and then you can see them popping up. And if you only have an investor that's, if you only have, let's say, $20,000 from an investor to bid, then you and I partner, and we partner with someone, that's willing to fund the rest of the deal on our end.
Okay.
So
and that's going to happen pretty quickly, obviously, on these auctions, because the example that's up, the auction starts on the 6th and ends on the 9th.
Very quickly, yeah. I'll give you an example. I'll bid on a property today. I'll lock it up, and then I'll put together the financing, within days or a day.
Okay.
So as soon as I lock something up, I'll make some calls, and I'll make sure and get that financing set up within 24 to 48 hours and close hopefully within a week to 2 weeks. Sometimes title is a little tricky, so it can take up to 30 days.
Yeah, that's right. So when you say lock it up, what do you mean by that?
When I say what, I'm sorry?
When you say lock it up, you'll lock it up and then get the financing in place?
Yeah, so once we bid on an auction, we have our approval, we win the bid, we have the winning bid, that's locked up. Or once we have a contract on a property and lock it up, that's locked up. And then we're ready to set up for closing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's a two stages. First, you're acquiring interest from your investors and building your list, right? Showing them all these deals that you're coming across and striking up some interest. Once you have some interest, then we place them into a property.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what you're looking for is really their commitment up front to move very quickly on one of these deals once they see something that they're interested in.
Exactly.
You want to get them interested in doing this, and then having the funds available to act quickly when you need to.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, you're laying the groundwork with these proposals, and then once that groundwork is laid and they have interest and say, hey, I'd like to invest in the next 30 days, then you say, okay, I'm going to send you my next deal that we have locked up, and then I'll send you the next deals that are locked up, and then you can go ahead and pitch those to them and see if they want those deals. Or we just keep putting deals in front of them that are locked until they like the deal, and then they want to get involved.
What happens, do you ever have deals that are locked up and then you can't find an investor?
Never. Not one time.
That's great. I guess that's what happens when you have a list to go to like that.
Well, no, when I started out, I didn't have anybody. I was in Denver in 2008, and I had one buyer that I knew of. But I'll tell you, if you have a deal, and it's just not hard to find funding. But you're building your list, you're building that credibility. But that's why I think it's very beneficial, this training, because we're partnering with you to make sure that everything goes smoothly, to make sure that it does get funded. You have that support and back of you.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Okay. Any questions?
Well, I will be looking around my Gmail account and getting myself very familiar with that. So that I know what I'm doing there. So
yeah, peruse through your Gmail and all of its accessories, if you will. Your YouTube, your G Drive, and it gives you a little tour, which is nice. And then review your proposals that are going to start coming over. I'm going to send you a couple today of the auctions. And then, of course, build your list out. If that's one person or 100, it doesn't matter. And then put your proposal together, conform it to your needs with the header, how you want the dialogue, how you want your offerings, how you want to do your proposal. And then, of course, send out the proposals and follow up with your contacts with a phone call is how I prefer to do it. Obviously, we don't do a phone call anymore. We have 1,800 people. You can't call them. But we just send out the offerings and they just respond back. But at first, when you're building your list and it's small.
Yeah, and they're probably seasoned enough that they're used to seeing these come in anyway.
They
Um,
are.
yeah, whereas the people I know, they'd be doing this for the first time.
Yeah, so start laying the groundwork, and only you know their level of expertise, so you can kind of walk them through from there.
Yeah. Okay. All
Very
right.
good.
Very good. Well, I will work on that, and then we'll just. When will our next contact be? Maybe
So
next week.
you can contact me anytime, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out your membership, all the modules throughout the rest of this week.
Okay.
So throughout the week, you'll see the progressive interaction with me and the Kajabi site. And I'll have hopefully all four modules done by Monday. Okay.
Okay.
So
That's
just
fantastic.
so go on through, and then I'll also share this video with you. This should be uploaded to YouTube. We're having difficulty to get the streaming on our actual membership site. That's what I've been struggling with, a lot of glitches. But you should have everything on there by next Monday. If you have any questions or want me to walk you through a proposal or talking to one of your investors, I'm happy to do that too. Or if you
Okay.
want to walk a property or two with your investor to give them an idea, or if they want to go to one of our properties that we've done as your associate and your partner, we can walk them on, take them through some of our projects, our past projects, to get them comfortable with, hey, this is what we bought it for. Our renovations were 5 weeks. It cost $40,000 in renovations. We bought it for $170. We sold it for $325. Our investor made a 10% profit share and a 12% interest rate. So whatever you want me to do to help build that credibility and to help secure them and their interest, and obviously keep them comfortable in their investment.
Yeah. And then one other question, a real basic question, I guess, is they have the investment for purchasing the property, and then where does the money come from to do the renovations?
So there's one of three options that we provide, and let's just go through that real quick. So what I usually provide so we usually do a first, right? A first position mortgage, and that's 80% of the all in. Okay. So let's say on this specific property, to give you an example, we're buying it. Oh, sorry, this always does this. We're buying it for 217,000 and change. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But we have a construction budget, renovations, of 26,000. So the
Yeah.
all in is 243,000. Let's just say it's 244, and it has a value of 348. So it has almost 100. Well, it has 100 grand basically in gross profit. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it's right around 70% of value is what we're borrowing on. Now, some
Yeah.
lenders
Yeah.
aren't comfortable bringing all of the money to the table, especially if they're a first time investor with you. So what they usually require is that you put in 10 or 20%, skin in the game,
Yep.
right? That's what they call it.
Yeah.
So the skin
Yeah.
in the game, so we give them this offer. We say, hey, listen, we'll cover 20%, you do 80%, and you're secured with a first position mortgage against the property. So even if we don't perform, you'll be able to sell that property and get out and probably still make a good return, right? So that's
Yeah.
option one. The second option, we say, hey, listen, maybe you don't have that kind of money or you don't feel comfortable. You bring 20% to the table, okay? You have an ownership interest in the limited liability company that takes ownership of that property. And what you get paid out first, you're guaranteed your proceeds, your profits first, as outlined in the operating agreement, and then we get paid, and then we get paid. So they're secured
Yeah.
well that way. Or you can say, hey, listen, I know you only have 5,000, and a lot of people have started their investing with me at that number, $5,000. So what we do is we say, hey, listen, you can do an investment of 5,000, no problem. You'll have an ownership interest there again in the limited liability company taking ownership of the property, and the operating agreement will have you be paid on the HUD at closing on B-side sale. You'll get paid before we do. You'll get paid before we do. So these last two options are basically the same. It's an ownership interest. They have the majority rule as far as income coming in, proceeds at closing on B-side sale. So everybody's secured, and you can literally take an investor from $5,000 all the way up to, you know, $1 million, whatever you want. $1 million is the cutoff for SEC, right? So this is a nice structure, and it provides everybody an opportunity to get involved.
Yeah. Yeah. So their investment, if they're investing the majority of the project, they're investing in the cost. That's covering the cost of construction too. So
the what? I'm sorry.
So if they're investing the 80% of the funds necessary, it's 80% of the total cost of the project. So that would be the purchase of the home and the construction.
Yes, we roll all the principal in. Yeah. So acquisition and renovation for a total principal, and that principal should always be 70% or less of our after repair value.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense now. Yeah, I see that. Okay, good. Yeah, that makes total sense. So very good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm excited for you. Give me a call if I can be of assistance. Otherwise, I'm going to start loading that site for you, and I'll do my absolute best, but I'm sure I'm going to miss a lot. So please, you know, holler at me, say, hey, Todd, you skipped over something, or you missed this, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and you said this video will be uploaded and part of the videos I can access, right?
I will upload this video today, and it should be available to you either this afternoon or tomorrow morning at the latest. I'll share the YouTube link.
That's great, because that's how I'll learn, is just repeating all of this over and over again and going over it again. So it's great that I'll be able to see this again. So
absolutely. We'll stay in touch. Have a great day, and give me a call if I can be of assistance.
Thank you so much, Todd. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ian. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.